Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today on Thursday, so this is still the back end from yesterday, which was our best sales day ever on eBay, which before that was actually our worst ever. So really weird roller coaster, but still a lot of good items going out. And today's been going pretty smooth with like offers and a lot of sales, like a lot of action on eBay. I was talking about this in the past few months where there would be times where eBay would just go completely silent for us. No offers, no purchases, no offers to like send in stuff. And then out of nowhere, it would almost feel like our eBay store got turned on and then like stuff would come in and then there'd be like a notch that felt like it would turn off. We haven't felt that in a little bit. So it finally feels like, I don't know, whatever updates they're doing in the background. I don't know how all of that algorithm and stuff works, but it feels like it's finally slightly like, it feels like the store is more on than off. All right. Can always be my items, but we have a lot of stuff. So we've been on here long enough to know what like a consistent action feels like. All right, it doesn't have to always be a lot of sales. First up right here is going to be this help CD. You got a bunch of CDs for $75, full car full. Talk about it all the time. People who've been watching for a while probably get tired of me saying that, but there are new people that watch occasionally. So this one's just called Help. It's a really cool like design on the front. It looks like the little colored tiles or like the paint things. This one ended up going for $10 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping. All right, next up is going to be Memoir 44 board game. This is going to be an empty box, so someone's just going to be replacing their box. Sorry, I put like a wrapping on it, so it's probably not good for you guys looking at it visually on the screen, but pretty good World War II game. There's a bunch of expansions. You're supposed to be playing like scenarios from World War II, and then it's a pretty popular one. A lot of the expansions are expensive. This is just a replacement box. They probably had their corners get dented and then just wanted to replace just the box, not like the whole game. I don't think the core game's too expensive, but it's still like, this is an older game and it's still worth a lot. And you end up having two different sides. You'll have like some scenario rules and some objectives, and you'll have these cards in your hand, which let you know basically who you get to move and attack with. So it might be like you get to attack once on the left flank or the right flank, and then there's also the center. So it's a really cool game. It's not one of those tactics games where you get to move all your troops and then they get to move all their troops. You have to actually pick and choose based off of your cards. Some of the cards have like special actions as well. So I played that with my dad a long time ago. It's a lot of fun. We got through like 3 or 4 scenarios. There was like 12 or 15 or something in the core game. It is a really fun game. It's pretty simple too. It uses like a dice mechanic for like how many troops get defeated and all the little terrain hexes. There's like 7 or 8 different types that give different like infantry cover and stuff like that, or movement restrictions. And then some of the objectives are just like, you know, you have to hold like a certain specific spot. All right, moving along, we have this vintage. This is going to be a Wisconsin Blackhawk Campgrounds brochure right here. Get a bunch of these like brochures, or we used to do them a bunch. Haven't found any in a while. I've listed all the ones that we've got. People like these, like the paper ephemera. It's a lot of fun listing them. It's a lot of fun selling them because I know someone's going to appreciate it. They might just have like want to see what like a certain place or area was, like map sell as well in a certain year, or maybe they're in it. There's been people who are like, oh, can you check to see if I'm actually in one of those photos? So we've had that happen before. So that's pretty wholesome. This ended up selling for $10. All right. Next up is going to be Incomplete Zoki Mig Killers expansion kit right here. This is gonna be like an older vintage game. I just got some of like the sheets and reference charts and a couple of rule books. This is not the full-fledged game. There's also some like paper airplane cards that you have to cut out. So like kind of like an old school, here they are. Here's some of the backs of the stats. You would cut these out, and then those I guess are gonna be your little cards with all the stats. So this is Incomplete. Ended up going to a repeat buyer for $17. They told me to send that with signature, but they already paid for regular shipping. We're not going to pay up for like a signature for that one. So you always like, it's whatever you guys agreed upon on the purchase. And if there's messages between a seller and I, then we can change stuff. But that is something that we're probably not going to throw in because it would add like, that one sold for 17. So that's adds like another like 5, 6, or 7. All right. Next up is going to be this right here. These are 2 Versus System decks. This one I believe is a 2-player starter set, and then this is going to be just a like additional cards, maybe an individual deck. Versus System is a card game. I don't know if it's still around, but it was supposed to be different IPs that you would battle each other. They end up doing a lot of Marvel. Marvel ended up being their main one. I've sold some DC ones. I think I remember in the past, like a long time ago, seeing wrestling ones. So I know there's different Versus System cards, but mostly it's just kind of just Marvel at this point, or at least that I find. These end up going as a combo order for $19.11. All right, I actually have a bunch of this one, so I relisted it, and I had a bunch of these at one point, and I relisted my last one. I thought this was the last one, but there was one more, which is great. All right, had them for a long time. Next up is going to be these magazines. Combo order, there's 3 of them. They're cheaper than Dirt magazines. These are like gun, survival gear, yeah, kind of like that kind of stuff, just catalogs. Got a bunch of these alongside the fashion catalogs. People actually purchase the fashion catalogs first. These like gun, camp gear, survival gear ones haven't done too well. So whenever they sell, I'm like, oh, at least someone bought them, because they end up going for $20.78 for 3, which is pretty good. But these have been much slower. When we first got those fashion catalogs, if you've been watching since then, they were selling relatively quick for like 20, 25, 30, some 18, some 14, depending on like what year it was and what the girl's fashion was. All right, moving along, we have Keyforge. I like this game a lot. It's not around anymore, or I'm not too sure like who's in control of it. It's going to be a collectible deck game where you get a deck of cards. It's going to be made by a computer algorithm, and you're not allowed to change what's in it. And down here, they give you a name. This is like U-Turn, Doomuzid, Harbor, Desperado. They just like put these funny random names to it. And then your little deck list is on the back here. Sorry, there's like a scanning thing that I'm going to cover. But yeah, this one was special because it has a Maverick card type, which means one of the card, your deck has a chance to have, even though you buy a deck and that's what you get, it's still randomized by like the algorithm. So this one has a Maverick, which is you will get a basically a special card forced into one of the slots. Those are kind of more collectible. People like to grab them and play with them. This one went to Repeat Buyer for $15.99. There's like a little tiny symbol here that I knew showed that it was a Maverick. So yeah, pretty fun game. If you like Magic, you would probably like that game. It's pretty easy to learn. You're just trying to forge 3 keys. That's the point of the game. And there's some combat as well. And you get to play a bunch of different factions. There's like Mars aliens. There's like the shadows. And then there's like the untamed beasts and wilds and stuff like that. All right. Next up is going to be artillery scouts right here. These are cavalries. So I've been selling the toy soldiers. You saw the video that I posted about them. These end up going for $23.99. I told you people would like the horses, the cavalry better. So yeah, this one is British heavy. Yeah, they're British heavy cavalry. All right, next up is going to be Gloomhaven Jaws of Lion. This is just a removable sticker set with another map in there. This is going to be like a fantasy game. They end up selling a bunch of this at like Target. And then it's also like a prelude to the Gloomhaven game. You're supposed to play Jaws of the Lion before you play the big fantasy game Gloomhaven, but Gloomhaven came out first, and then they kind of cleaned up the game, made it easier to learn. These are going to, because you have a map here and scenarios and stickers you put on it in your base game, if you want to replay it and you want to use the map again, you purchase the removable sticker thing. Right here, mine's missing the 4 red seal stickers, which is just, they are the least important of the stickers to replace, because there's 4 little containers that you open up throughout the game as like a little surprise, as something you unlock. But like the main thing people probably want are these different scenarios so that they get to go through the campaign with another group of friends. This ended up selling for $6. It was a lot on that, but I like the game Gloomhaven. Jaws of the Lion is also a good one. Relatively cheap for how much board game you get for both of those games, honestly. I'm not too sure where Gloomhaven stands now, but back in the day, even at like 100, 120, 140, it's a game you can play a bunch. Ned and I went through all of Gloomhaven once. It took us like almost a year to get through it, just to give you an idea of like how much game there is. It's a fun one. All right, moving along, we have this combo order. This is going to be 4 PC games. We just sold a bunch of PC games to the same person like a week ago. They do kind of send super low offers on a couple of them. The low offer was like, it was good enough. And the other 2, I try to get a little bit more meat on the bone, but then they went back to their low offers. But I'm like, I have a bunch of these PC games, and if it's a repeat buyer, that's fine. But I did want a little bit more. All of this sold for, they're like $3.50 each. I had a couple of these listed at 14. 2 of them at like, 1 at 12, 1 at 14, and 2 at 8. So just to give you an idea. All right, Red Faction 2 PC game right here. Unreal 2 The Awakening. They got Fear, First Encounter, Assault Recon. So they like all these. They either like action games or like shooter games, but then they also like fantasy. They got Might and Magic Heroes 5. I never played any of the Might and Magic games. I think they were a little bit more complicated for me as a kid. There was a bunch of them, or maybe my computer wasn't good enough and I was just into other stuff. There's a lot of PC games that like I wanted to play as a kid. I just didn't have infinite time. But yeah, these end up selling for, what was it? It was $14. Yeah, $14. So just for the 4. All right. Next, people like to collect PC games and stuff, and they can still play them, especially when digital copies of games end up being more expensive than like the physical one. We have this Radio Electronics. This is going to be the December, is a 1956 issue, so really old item magazine. I don't even remember where I got these ones. I had a lot of like 6 for like, I think like $30 or something, but then someone said that they wanted just this one and they were willing to pay $10 plus shipping. Normally, I don't take apart one of my lots, but the $10 for one was good enough for me to take it apart. So I went to a storage unit today, took it apart, took pictures with this one, made new pictures for then a lot of 5 of the radio magazine. So I basically like, that's why I usually don't do it, is it's a lot of time to like take apart a listing and then go from there. This ended up selling for $10, like I said. So I did the work and effort for just the one. If they told me they wanted me to take apart a lot and it was like a couple dollars, it probably wouldn't have, it would not have happened, if that makes sense. All right. Next up is going to be Zombicide Second Edition. This is an upgrade kit. This one is incomplete. So there's a lot of different, I believe, like versions or updates to Zombicide. So this is just going to have like if they updated characters, if they had cards that had incorrect rules. So they would just like, just think of it as like a update to a video game. Zombicide was by Cool Miniatures or not. They really did have like a lot of products. It was almost like a microtransaction board game. I never got into it, but I know a lot of people like it. People are speculating how Cool Miniatures or not is doing as a company right now, because they're having quarterly, I think, reports that are showing like losses and stuff. So there's been like a lot of drama with this particular company. I have a lot of the Zombicide stuff. A lot of it's incomplete. It'll be like characters, miniatures, and stuff. So they do sell. People like them. So I might be selling more as more people talk about this. And people always like this game. This game, for a lot of people, was kind of their entry point into board games. It wasn't for me, but a lot of people were like, they saw Zombicide, they picked it up, they liked it, and then they got a bunch of other board games, and they've been in it since. $17.60 for that. All right. Last up is going to be a lot of these Britons. These are Civil War Confederate soldiers. These were the metal ones that I got within that toy soldier box. These end up going for $59.99, so pretty good chunky sale. So yeah, they were pretty good quality. Some of them are like off the base. They just need like a little bit of re-gluing. And then yeah, there's like an artillery cannon here as well. Like I said, all these ones were metals. There was some that I sold yesterday, I believe, that were like plastic or like a resin or like a PVC, something like a rubber, not a metal. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at our links down below.